Welcome to Indiana Newsdesk. I'm Joe Wren. Well, it's been more than a year now since the U.S. trade conflict with China began. The tariffs have hit everything from cars to lumber. Farmers are also caught in the crossfire. Reporter Brock Turner has more on how Republican lawmakers are shifting their rhetoric and trying to hold the support of farmers.
David Myers has been farming this land in Decatur County for generations. He supported President Donald Trump in 2016 and serves on the Ag Committee for Indiana Senator Mike Braun. Tariffs and seasons like these might not be helping his balance sheets, but Myers says he has no intent of supporting another candidate in 2020.
In my opinion, the president is doing exactly the right thing. China and other countries of the world, but particularly China, has taken advantage of us being the United States, for so long, and somebody needed to put a stop to it.
Myers admits this season has been hard for Hoosier farmers, but says he understands and appreciates the tough negotiating tactics President Trump is using with the Chinese government.
I have contacted a lot of people throughout the state, a lot of farmers throughout the state, and I've never heard anyone say that Trump's not doing the right thing. And I sincerely believe that he is. Is it painful in the short term? Yes, it is. But long term, we're going to be a lot better off.
And that's a sentiment that Indiana Farmers Union President James Benham believes too.
They're probably not as optimistic as they were at one point in time. I think they feel that supportive. They know that China's been a problem for us to deal with for many generations.
But Republicans who have traditionally benefited from the support of farmers are starting to face tough questions after what many describe as a perfect storm. Zach Kane is a corn and soybean farmer in Montgomery County. About a quarter of his land is unplanted because of flooding this spring. He says the recent market declines are making him sweat.
While they are a good outlet as far as a place that needs a lot of our commodities, they've never been good trade partners.
The United States Department of Agriculture is set to distribute about $14.5 billion to farmers later this year as direct incentives for what the department calls, quote, unjustified retaliation. About a quarter of Kane's ground is not eligible for those payments because he was unable to plant it. Before he was elected to U.S. Senate in 2018, Braun spoke about how he planned to lead on the issue of tariffs.
I trust President Trump. He knows the significance, especially here in Indiana, of the farm community and other places that are feeling the short-term pain that cannot develop into chronic pain or long-term.
But Braun and other Republicans are beginning to shift their rhetoric. They're preparing farmers for a long conflict.
President Trump has been there to help farmers get through it with soybeans, and I think that will continue. So I think it's going to be longer rather than shorter. I just try to say things honestly and hoping that there is some breakthrough. I just don't sense that's going to happen.
I appreciate that someone's holding them in check. Unfortunately, it's bleeding my bottom line. So I don't know whether to be happy, sad, mad. I don't know whether, 2 years from now this is all going to play out in a good trade deal where, we've got a great market for our crops, or whether it's just going to keep spiraling down. I don't know that.
But experts say Brazil, Argentina, and other nations have already started to produce more soybeans, and those markets won't easily return.
This will be a question of survival for many, particularly, but not only, smaller farmers. And I must say, when I look at this, I'm almost heartbroken, and it's difficult from a rational perspective, and it's difficult for a professor of economics to understand that this group that is clearly a victim of the current policies supports the people who are in charge and responsible for those policies. It's irrational.
But I don't think it's the economist to say what's in the mind of the farmer. That bothers me, because he's saying farmer's not going to vote in his best interest. He's going to vote. Farmers are very patriotic, and they're going to vote for what's best for this country, not some radical idea that somebody has that a percentage of the population likes because they're going to get a benefit out of it.
Housegret says he expects things will continue to get worse for farmers and that the short-term benefits of subsidies will not make up for the long-term damage done to the market. Benham says many farmers are realistic. He believes most understand the ramifications of a trade war. He says they remain faithful to President Trump because it's the only hope they believe there is.
I haven't heard the first Democrat come out and really say something that, you know, I've got a plan. If you elect me, we're going to do this for agriculture. I haven't heard that. And so why would anybody in my industry then go jumping at a rally someplace for a party that's not really digging down deep and saying, look, you know, folks, we're going to have to spend another $10 billion on farm industry to keep these people in business.
And that's something that remains on the mind of Zach Kane.
But it's just years like this that really test you, just the stress and then the financial ramifications of, you know, can we keep the lights on for another year?
For Indiana Newsdesk, I'm Brock Turner.
Several 2020 Democratic presidential hopefuls have submitted proposals on how to grow the farm economy and increase net farm incomes, though the topic has not been a main talking point for the party yet.